Who's ready, Bills Mafia? It's the Bills Squad. Everything Buffalo Bills, every week. Breaking down the big hits and game-changing plays the way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. So gear up and squad up. The Bills Squad show starts now.
All right, welcome in, Bills Mafia. It's the Bills Squad show. It's Jeremy White, Big O, Jerry Ostrowski. No Joe Marino today. I saw Joe today. If you're a member of his text club, you know his flight got delayed and he couldn't make it home to be a part of the broadcast. So he just went to the game, took an extra day, and he'll be back on the Locked On Bills channel tomorrow. So no Joe with us today. We're sorry about that, but holy cow. Anyway, today's episode brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. We've got a million things to get to, including, remember all those terrible things we felt for about 3 hours? I said to my wife at 10:45, Jerry, this game's going to end early. It's going to be kind of early. Yeah. And the Ravens, I'll tell you, I remembered a thing. By the way, the Bills won 41-40 in a game where their defense got absolutely destroyed by Derrick Henry outside of a fumble that might have changed the game. And they win, and in 17 minutes, it's Victory Monday. It's Victory Sunday. What in the world was that? What just happened?
Here's what I'm going to say. And you know what? This might be unpopular, but I don't give a damn, okay? I don't care. That game tonight was a prime example of why Sean McDermott is the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. They did not quit. They had every reason to quit. They had every reason to throw in the towel and give up, and they didn't give up. The defense made one damn play tonight. One play. They caused the fumble. The MVP takes over, and next thing you know, we're sitting here with an unbelievable 41-40 win, and you're like, what the hell just happened?
But happened?
To me, I'm just telling you, man, teams would have quit. They would have quit. And that just, to me, shows how much respect they have for McDermott and that coaching staff. Just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unreal.
And for Allen as well. Like, Allen wills them back time and time again. So many times. Allen, of course, not giving up. Was not – can I unpopular things. Would anyone really disagree for me to say? It's the first time it's ever been said in NFL history for 41 points on the board. It was not an easy day for the offense. Right?
No.
41 points, but Allen is just willing them to plays, and you get big plays along the way from Josh Palmer late. The end of the half ends up being a big 3 points. We'll talk about 2-point conversions until we die, I guess, because there's which one of the 2-point conversions was your least favorite? We just have it's like the reverse of the Vikings game, right? The Vikings game from a couple of years ago where they fumble it into their own end zone and lose. This is the karmic response to that, where they win a game where they're down double digits in the fourth quarter. And one thing I'll predict for this, Jerry, I remember now that this has happened, Baltimore has some crazy number of fourth quarter games where they're up double digits and they lose. This is a Baltimore thing. They do this from time to time, and the Henry fumble changes everything. And of course, like, they missed an extra point. Baltimore does along the way. That's also in the mix here. You want to talk 2-point conversions? They missed an extra point. Wow. So
you know what I got to say to that? You got another 19 to 20 weeks to get revenge again. That's what I got. Right. That's what I got to say to that. You got another 19 to 20 weeks. And that's what I was talking about earlier this week, Jeremy, the player mindset. They were so wrapped up in the ass whipping they were giving the Bills, you forget the fundamentals of football. Yeah. Holding the football. Like I say all the time, football's not hard. It's blocking, it's tackling, it's ball handling. Baltimore drops the ball, we pick it up, and the rest is history. Unbelievable. Josh quietly goes 33 for 46 with 389 and a 112 quarterback rating. The whole night you were going, when are they going to get him? When are they going to get him involved? And he ends up that way. Obviously the turning point of the game to me, anyway, was the 2 3-and-outs. That was the turning point of the game early. And then, of course, the fourth quarter just, rampage the Bills come back on. But that, when you take the ball out of the MVP's hands that many times in 2 series, I have a big time problem with that.
Yeah. It ends up being a prime example of one of those games, Jerry, where you have things, and I'm sure a lot of Bills fans said a lot of things along the way that you're upset about. And then after the fact, it's like, oh, what are you mad about? That they won the game. So we'll, of course, get to the things they did well, the things that they didn't do well, the tail of the tape. Let's get you some of that. Some of the stats from this game. Lamar Jackson ends up with 209 passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Allen ends up 394, as you said, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Derrick Henry runs for 169 on 18 carries, but maybe the fumble kind of undoes all that.
Yeah.
But Bills receiving, Keon Coleman, 8 for 112 and a touchdown. Coleman gets a little bit lucky on the touchdown, right? That's a deflected ball, but 8 for 112 on 11 targets. Like, as the game went along, I don't know if it's because Baltimore backed off, but the Bills went from a team that couldn't find anybody down the field open. No one could get open. And then late in the game, like if you're a Baltimore evaluator and talking about this game after the fact, you're saying, what happened? They couldn't complete a pass to a receiver for most of the game. All of a sudden, he's finding Palmer and Coleman down the field in space. What did you change? I mean, Kyle Hamilton picked up an injury, which is a big deal, but like, what happened? All of a sudden, Baltimore couldn't cover anybody.
They went tempo.
Yeah.
And I said that I've been saying that for 2 years now. When the Bills go tempo, they're really hard to guard. Josh is unbelievable. He's a witch in tempo. And you're in you're behind, you're in a 2-minute situation. You got to run. They go to tempo, and now all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of angst amongst that Baltimore Ravens defense. I mean, seriously, other than the throw, I think one of the worst throws he made, he missed Shakir early on the play that could have been a pick. Shakir at least got a hand on it to deflect it to, cause a problem with the interception. The 2-point conversion to Coleman to take the lead or tie it up, that ball should have been high pointed. You can't throw that ball to his chest.
Yeah.
Keon lives from his head up as far as catching the ball in his radius. You got to put that ball up there where he gets it. Nobody else can make a play on it. But other than that, man, Josh Palmer shows up huge at the end of the game. Keon shows up huge at the end of the game. And you know what? Keon's not going to be the prettiest receiver. Tip balls for touchdowns and the things that he does, that's him. And you need those guys, right? You need those guys. But, here's the crazy thing, Jeremy. Think about this. Baltimore has come into the stadium the last 2 times and actually absolutely physically dominated the Buffalo Bills all over the place. And because of 2 plays, they are 0-2. 2 plays.
Yeah.
2 of them. A
Mistakes.
drop 2-point conversion and a fumble. Like I said, you got 19 to 20 weeks to figure it out, and you'll have another chance for revenge again because I'm sure we'll have to play them in the playoffs.
Yep. I mean, for Baltimore, the Bills might be their Chiefs to the Bills.
Yes.
Like, how did we not beat that team? We had that
Right.
team dead to rights and still didn't find a way to do it. More stats here for you. More things to run down over the course of the day. We'll talk about who played well. Your guy, Jackson Hawes, 1 catch for 29 yards. Even Jackson Hawes, right? Like, not bad.
Started the game. Yeah, started the game.
Yeah. Made a big play on that. Allen, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. Just an opener for the ages. Like, really, if this opener is any indication for what we've got for a season coming, holy cow, I don't know if we'll make it through.
What did I say Thursday? I had this gut feeling this last season, and there's just something magical about this. I mean, I had a season like this my senior year in college where we missed a field goal to tie a game up. And with no time left, the other team had too many men on the field. We got a chance to re-kick it again, made it tied. And there's just something about this season that I have a feeling about, and today proved it.
You can, of course, if you're watching this on the stream, you can comment, you can like, you can subscribe. We got a comment here from Freshly Fried that says, "Call me an ambulance," which is about the win that a lot of fans might feel. I wonder how many people left that game. I mean, I was there. I left at halftime so I could come home and do this from the home studio. I saw Joe today. For those of you just tuning in here on the Bill Squad show on the Locked On Bills channel, we won't have Joe tonight, and he wanted me to make sure everybody knows. His show, his daily, will be a little delayed as well. His travel plans to get back home got pushed a full day. So he's supposed to be with us. He's supposed to, usually drop his Locked On Bills daily episode right away. This is what we've got for now, and Joe will catch up, and I'm sure he's got a lot to say being at that game between the Bills and the Ravens, which goes to the Bills 41-40. So if you want to give us a comment, we'll get to comments later. I want to get to a lot of things that did happen in this game. Of course, it's a win for the Bills. And along the way, we'll evaluate. What do you want to start with? Should we start with the good because everyone's buzzing off of what they did well? I've got one particular play, Jerry, that I was really impressed with. And that's the play right before the half. The Ravens go up 10, and the Bills, they run the kind of play. It's the one where it's the catch for Kincaid on the sideline. He steps out with 1 second left. That play is the ball snapped with 7 seconds remaining. And the way that the Bills receivers run that route, I say, as I'm in the stadium, oh, okay, I guess they're just going to throw up a Hail Mary. And they run the tight end underneath, and they time it perfectly, maybe to the 10th of a second, whatever it is. But Allen makes 2 big throws on that drive. They get 3 points, and all of a sudden it feels kind of manageable going to the break. That's 3 points, and they end up winning by 1.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, that play is big. And in this game, every point ended up mattering. People were going to call and be upset about 2-point conversions for the next month. Instead, the math all works out, and maybe they had to do more work because of it. But, like, they got the job done, and that play to me stuck out as one of the good things that they did.
Well, what they did on that play is they put Kincaid on the right side of the field, and they ran him out and all the way across the field to get to that spot, and they used the Hail Mary receivers to clear out the zone, and that's why Kincaid was open. I think the best thing about this game, other than the comeback victory, was the play of Dalton Kincaid. If you don't think that he has a sense of urgency about him, you're too wrapped up in telling me why the safeties need to get better. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Kincaid had a hell of a night. That first series, he had 2 blocks that were like Mark Bavaro like he was whipping tail out there, then had the big catches. So it was awesome to see Dalton Kincaid. And the other thing was the passes he got. I always, every time now he gets an accurate pass and catches it, unfortunately, I think of Joe Marino every time because Joe's talked about it so much. But yeah, I mean, the point of emphasis was there. You see things like that out of guys. I mean, I thought that Cook, when he had his opportunities, ran hard, man. He tried to make the most of everything. He was battling. He's got a point of emphasis because he knows that the contract holdout, right? He needs to earn his money, and he was pounding the ball. And then you look at, a guy like Halls makes a big play, and then there's a lot of good in this game. But of course, we all know it's going to be overshadowed by the play of the defense. Now, I think this is fixable, and I've got some things to talk about with it, and I think that we'll go into the next games and we'll be fine, right? Because we're not going to face a team that lines up the way that the Ravens do and have Derrick Henry in the backfield. But there are some things that the defense does that are a little maddening to me, and I'm sure we'll get into that soon.
Yeah, we'll dig into all that. The Bills win in a game where they give up 1,000,000 yards on the ground to Derrick Henry and just got gashed. I mean, he posterizes Cole Bishop along the way. He ran.
That wasn't Cole's fault.
Oh no, sure, I know that. Like, what are you going to do? It's not the kind of play where you're blaming Bishop. It's just like, oh, here you go. Here comes the freight train. Jump in front of it, and you're going to get thrown to the ground.
Right.
There were multiple times where Henry was 10 yards deep before he got touched.
Like that was my point. I mean, we're beating the safety room to death right now. This is embarrassing, guys. You have a 6'4", 247 listed tailback, full speed, untouched in the defensive secondary with space. I don't care if it's Stevie Atwater. I don't care if it's Ronnie Lott. I don't care if it's Waters. I don't care if it's Brian Dawkins. They're not putting them on the ground. And those guys are in the Hall of Fame. So say what you will, grill them all you want. The front seven at some point has to do a better job because these safeties, it's just like that Bears game in the preseason. They're in a freaking bind.
Oh,
it's the train's coming, man.
Yeah.
And you got to try to stop it.
Who's ready for it? Oh, Joe Marino. All right, we'll see if he tries again. Mr. Joe Marino leaving the game just popped onto our little board here, so maybe he does pop in after all. I'm not sure if he was just trying to watch the show or he was ready to make a comment. I saw it popped up in our little behind-the-scenes thing, or he's walking out of the stadium. To the point about, the safety room, there's another play where Bishop blitzes and the Bills get cooked by Zay Flowers.
Well, yeah.
And I saw on that play, so that was a next-gen stats charted it, and Chris Collinsworth mentioned, like, why would a safety ever blitz from that deep? And the reason that happened was Lamar went to a quick count. Like, the Bills were caught in their disguise, and he snapped it. So it ends up being like Bishop blitzes. It looks like it's late, but that's just a well-executed play by the Ravens to kind of cut them open. Flowers went nuts on them. DeAndre Hopkins, a highlight reel catch. Like, the story of the day is going to be that I don't know. Allen's the MVP. He's amazing. He carried them. And the Bills defense is far from finding its answers, which we should point out, while Joe's not here right now, what did he say on Thursday, on our show on Thursday? He said, listen, I want everyone to prepare themselves because what you're going to see from this Bills defense, it is not the final form of this defense.
Right.
That was his message, and we can get into why that's the case because they're missing a lot of pieces. So drop us a like, get us a subscribe, and make a comment. We're going to get a break in. I want to talk to Jerry. You got a bunch of stuff. You were hot in this game about the run defense, about the things that you saw. I want to dig into that because Henry went nuts, and there's a lot of fear, I think, about what this defense might look like for a couple of weeks before they find their answers. So that's coming up. You can, jump in wherever. We're, of course, streaming live here on YouTube, and you can find us in the Locked On Bills channel as well, part of the Bills channel, Locked On Bills channel. This is the Bill Squad show. This episode brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making picks is the name of the game. That's right. It's Prize Picks. Here's how it works with Prize Picks. Pick more or less than on 2 or 6 player projections. You can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. That's Prize Picks. Make decisions every day on that. So quick and easy and a great way to follow along with football. So if you like checking projections, Josh Allen, more or less than 270 yards passing. Tony, you went for more. Next game, check that out. Saquon Barkley, more or less than 1 rushing touchdown. There'll be max discounts as well. Prices on that. Coming up next week, you got Travis Kelce, more or less than a half receiving touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, more or less than half a passing touchdown, I should say. They've got the Eagles this week. So, take a look at that and jump on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Jeremy White, Jerry Ostrowski here on the Bill Squad Show. Lots of you commenting. I got about 2,000 people in here. It's midnight. We're 1 minute away from Victory Monday. Victory Monday. So somebody went to bed in the fourth quarter, and they're going to wake up and say, what? Huh? Who did what? So the Bills win. They are 1-0. The Chiefs are 0-1. The Ravens are 0-1. And off we go to an incredible, frenetic season. But you said you wanted to get into some things you saw from the defense, and I don't think anybody's going to be upset if we're getting after the defense a little bit and what we saw from this defense. So as the game went on, was it the Henry runs? Was it Lamar escaping? What did you see from this defense that really troubled you, Jerry?
My biggest issue with our defense is I think we are really athletic. I've talked about this many times. I think we've got bend. I think we're athletic. I think we run really well. But yet we don't really move our front. And when I say our front 7. I watched Oakland, and I'm going to go with the college, and I know college is different than pro, but still there's some things that cross over. I watched Oklahoma play Michigan on Saturday night. Michigan, a big physical running the football team like Baltimore. I looked at Oklahoma, they've got good size inside, but they are a smaller defense that runs really, really well. And they will line up a certain way, move every play, slant, bring their secondary and their safeties down into the box to a certain area to force the run to those guys. They dictate how they want the offense to go. And you saw Baltimore do some of that in this game, right? They would blitz, do certain things, and it's almost like they forced that little bubble pass or whatever outside, and then you saw 3 guys rally into the ball. I think this defense has the ability to do that, to force the ball into certain areas, insert the safeties up into the running game without making them sit back at depth and then figure it all out. I look at this team right now, I'm like, when I think I told you on text, you and Joe, I'm like, just sit and man and freaking get downhill and make things happen. I mean, it's hard to talk about this, Jeremy, without having a whiteboard in front of me and drawing it up. But the way the Bills like to play a 1 technique and a 3 technique, that does not mean you have to line them up in a 1 and a 3 at the snap of the ball. You can line your guys up opposite of that and then move them to where you want them at the snap of the ball. You can line up a head up nose, a 3 technique and a 3 technique and go to like what they would call a solid look on the inside. And then at the snap of the ball, you move them to where you want them to go. I just think we have so much athletic advantage inside with Ed. Now, Ed had a day. I mean, Ed had 6 tackles, a sack, 3 tackles for loss, a quarterback hit.
From the start.
Yeah,
like from the start. Even when they're getting pushed around and they're getting run on, like you could tell Ed was having a day.
But look at it. Ed Oliver, a lot of people, you're not earning your contract, Ed. You need to play better. First game out of the box plays great. Kincaid, same thing. I mean, there's kind of some crossover, right? But we tend to line up where we're going to be. We'll move sometimes, but we're trying to play gap sound defense with guys that aren't really the style of player. When I think of gap sound defense, I think of big fat nose guards. I think of big 3 techniques and those types of things. We have an athletic advantage. I wish we moved around a lot more and attacked the line of scrimmage with our linebackers and our safeties. And you know what? We got Hairston when he comes back strong. That was a bogus holding call, by the way.
Yeah.
And really, we didn't. I mean, I have to look at the all-22. I don't really know how he played. We got Benford. Hell, Benford led the team in tackles. He had 7 himself, 5 solo, we don't need that to happen. But we can do some things. I just wish we would play like we did when we held them to that field goal down there. And that, Ed got the big sack and the pressure and just running and swarming to the football. And you know what? If they catch us on one, so be it. How many points we just come back from in the fourth quarter? We got a guy that can come back. Just sell out to it and make big plays because we're not big. And you saw, Terrell Bernard tonight. He had 3 tackles. He was non-existent.
Yeah. What'd you think of Bosa? Bosa made a play, poked the ball out, and kind of held them to a field goal as a result. What'd you like from his game? What'd you see a little bit of?
Joey's just really, really sound. Now, he had a little bit of issue with the zone read stuff with Lamar a couple times, and he figured it out and played it well. Again, this is a prime example. This is not new to Buffalo. I watched football all day long. And game after game after game, you saw the same thing. Teams that didn't play their guys in the preseason, it took them a long time to figure it out. And Buffalo was no different. I mean, Bosa played in the first game of the preseason for a little bit and then didn't play again. A guy that was coming off an injury and didn't have a ton of snaps the year before and the year before that. It's going to take him a little bit to get going, but he had some really good rushes. I know that we got home We got home twice tonight. Yeah, we got home twice tonight. Ed Oliver and Milano had a sack. We did have pressures. We collapsed the pocket with the outside ends a little bit. The making of it is there. I just wish we would get out of this mode of trying to be stagnant and let these guys move around. And I want to run stunt. I mean, slant and twist in the run. I mean, we used to play against the Colts, and it was hard as hell to block. See other teams do it. I mean, we could run stunt and do some different things, but to just sit there and catch, that's hard for us.
It is the Bills Squad show. The Bills pick up a 41-40 victory over the Baltimore Ravens, who had a lead late. So defense, the safeties, the corners, I mean, even Benford got beat by a great throw and catch. DeAndre Hopkins makes a great catch. It's not like he was roasted on the play, but, he's on DeAndre Hopkins, and that's a touchdown. The Ravens seem to get whatever they want, whatever they wanted, until those 3 and outs, like you're mentioning, Jerry. And I don't know what was different, or I don't know what the Bills were able to do, but if it's just playing with a little bit more belief along the way. But
I think Baltimore is, like I said earlier, I think they're a good front-running team. When things are going well for them, they can stay in their program. When it gets out of the program is when they have to ad-lib a little bit, it gets a little crazy for them.
Yeah. Joe Marino not with us tonight. He might check in. Like, we don't know. He was at the game tonight. If you're part of Joe's text club, he let everybody know his travel plans got rearranged. So it's the 2 of us and a lot of your comments as well. So, do you want to talk about the conversions? Should we get into that?
Yeah, I do.
Because there were so many of them and so many numbers along the way. You know what? We got Joe. We're going to try this whole thing. Ready? I guess we're going to try it. Joe Marino.
My dog.
Happy Victory Monday to you. Come on, boys. What was that?
What did we watch? What was it?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Unbelievable.
I'm sure you probably can't even see me because it's dark in this car.
It's dark, but we know it's you. A quick thought, like what do you got?
Whew. Thank God we were able to get that done in spite of that defense.
Yeah.
Joe, I just ranted for 5 minutes about the defense, and I likened it to watching OU against Michigan this weekend, a team that's very similar to Baltimore, and I think we have athletes like OU does. I just don't understand why we sit and catch. I would love for us to move, run, stunt, slant, do some different things, let our safeties insert early. Hell, if we're going to get beat up, let's play man and at least give our safeties a chance to get downhill and not try to tackle a 250-pound tailback with 20 yards head start.
Yeah, I felt like the front just couldn't get off blocks. That was my kind of takeaway. They couldn't get off blocks, and they did try to run some of their blitz man stuff behind it, and then there was just space. There was just too much space, and guys got in trouble. Too many quick scores, obviously, but I mean, I was frustrated. I felt like for the whole game until the end. I mean, honestly, I had frustrations with the offense, not with Josh Allen, but it's like they played this game within this like a 5-yard box. It's like they needed to open it up. I was super frustrated with Joe Brady, and I think they wanted to try to control the game, control the time of possession, because I think they knew they couldn't match up defensively, and so they tried to play this clock control style of game, and I guess it worked, but it was very frustrating to watch. I mean, really.
But the thing is, Joe, complimentary football handcuffs you in situations like this. And when you're playing Baltimore and the defense is struggling, it's hard to play complimentary football and play in a 5-yard box when you got to score points. And, like I talked to Jeremy earlier about it, I've been clamoring for it for 2 years. When Josh gets to play tempo, they're damn good. And they get in the 2-minute, they get into the offense where they're behind and they got to score points. And the 2-minute offense, they play tempo, and all of a sudden everything changes. And I just wish they would do that more during the game.
You're exactly right, Jerry. And they played the exact opposite of that. They were subbing in probably three different skill players on every single snap, taking it down inside 5 seconds every time. They tried to play a clock control style of game. And I mean, I think the proof is in exactly what we just watched, is when they play tempo, they open it up, spread it out, and let Josh be Josh. It's like we wanted these easy button throws so bad, and now there's just too many of them.
Yeah. I feel like I'm glad you said that, Joe, because the first half, when there's a 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1 handoffs to James Cook, I'm frustrated. And then the next possession is a screen, a short slant, and a screen. And I think these are what teams without Josh Allen should be calling. You have Josh Allen.
Right. That's Mac Jones with the Patriots stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But the other thing is this, it's like, that's where I thought the game turned. And it was that early. We go 2 3 and outs. And, Baltimore does such a good job. And this is something I think we can do with the athletes we have and the way we can play. I think we can force the ball to a spot. And Baltimore does that so well against us. They'll force the screen or the dump, and there's 3 guys rallying to the ball and get the guy down on the ground. I have a hard time. Like, I don't know why we play passively and then expect, and we go ahead and grill the safety room like they're the worst group in the history of mankind, trying to tackle a 6'4", 250-pound tailback. And I guarantee you he weighs more than 250 pounds with a 20-yard head start. And then we talk about Cole Bishop not getting him on the ground when he's trying to come from the other side of the field. Like I said on Twitter, my high school teacher used to say, it's physics. That's what happens. And this was physics. I mean, that's really my biggest gripe about this. I wish we would force the issue more.
Yeah, I think the proof is in exactly what we watched in that game. Open it up, score points.
Yeah. I mean, build the whole plane out of the black box, as they say, right? Like, why don't you just win the 2-minute offense, be the whole team? And that, there've been teams that worked for as well. Joe, anything else you want to just highlight before we let you go and get home? And of course, I've been telling everybody you're flying back tomorrow. You're going to get a little bit of a late start, but you're still going to go a daily episode, like as you are able to. Your travel schedule kind of, rearrange things for you here. But the good news is you got to go to that game, which was insane.
I feel very privileged to have been in that building. I didn't leave early, and I would never do that. So it was amazing to be part of it, and I cannot wait to get my post-game podcast done. It's going to be later than I wanted to, but it's outside of my control, and glad I was able to pop in here for a second and celebrate and be frustrated as well, because I think that's the right blend to have tonight.
Yeah. All right. Well, get home safe, and thanks for popping in.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all. Go Bills.
Deuces, Joe.
All right.
Go Bills.
Victory Monday. Mr. Joe Marino checking in from the car ride home. I mean, he has the same feeling we did when we started the stream. Like,
right.
What just happened?
Yeah.
What happened? I mean, Josh Allen went MVP mode. And, like, Joe's got a lot of the same thoughts we do about the defense. Like, that was kind of tough. And the offense, really conservative, really on a leash the whole night, as if no one could get open. How many throws did Allen make on schedule in the first 3 quarters of this game?
Not many.
There's just not much there. So, and at one point, this is a very small point. If you're coming home from the game, you didn't hear this, but you would have watched this, Jerry. You're watching on the broadcast. Collinsworth, I feel like Chris Collinsworth was in such disbelief that the Bills' passing game was so short. He was saying that he thought Allen didn't think he had enough time. Like, I think Allen is anticipating the rush. I'm like, that's not it, man.
No,
that's not it. Like, nobody's getting open, and all the design throws are just these short dink dunk kind of throws. It's not that he doesn't think he has time. He has to extend. He has to find time.
Right. At one point in the game, we handed off the receivers more than we threw to them.
Yeah.
Elijah Moore, his one play that he had for 8 yards, and then of course, also rushing. They don't have it on here, but Shakir had the rush as well. Oh, I guess they called it a pass because he did kind of underhand flip it to him, so they called it a pass.
It's one of those things, full disclosure, like newspaper, people that write for the newspaper will talk about this. If you're looking at our show and the front, the thumbnail is Derrick Henry running, and the other graphic is the Bills getting dominated, and it says, offense conservative, does Allen need help? Like, everything was ready for the Bills are going to lose to the Ravens. And of course, they kick a field goal at the very end in a miraculous game to somehow get a win. I got to go back in afterwards. I'll change it all. But man, what a night. What a night. Yeah, all right. Unbelievable. The Bills started 1-0 after one of the all-time memorable openers in Highmark Stadium history. Like that's another part. Like it starts the final season of Highmark.
I know you're trying to get us out, and I'm sorry. I'm a radio
No, you're good. We got time.
I know you're trying to get us out to a commercial, but is this the best game ever played in that stadium?
Oh, I mean,
we've had some, the Kansas City Chiefs blowout game and all that. I know they were great and going this, but honestly, with angst and the amount of turns in this game, I mean, this is arguably one of the greatest games, if not the greatest game played in the stadium.
Yeah. I mean, Allen's performance is off the charts. Allen runs for a touchdown, 2 touchdowns, 14 carries, 30 yards, 394. That's the thing, like 394. James Cook, big plays. Jackson Hawes, big plays. Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman. Coleman, 100 yards. Like, he was there when they needed him. And they got to bounce. Like Dawson Knox. Maybe you didn't see this because you're at the stadium. Like, Dawson Knox tips that ball and it goes to Coleman. Yeah. You're a Baltimore fan. You're probably feeling they can't keep getting away with this.
And that's why if you could just get one guy that maybe was more of the emphasis marquee guy. Keon is such a good, and this term I'm using is not a slander. He's such a good trash receiver. You know what I mean by trash receiver?
Yeah,
just
he cleans up.
Ball, cleans up, finds a way to get open, scramble plays. He's just so good at that, man. But I'll tell you what, say what you will, Josh Palmer showed up in big moments.
Yeah,
big
catch on the final drive.
Yes, he did.
Did any part of you, what? When we get back from the break, I want to get into this. We've teased a little bit and kind of danced around the 2-point conversions. I want to talk to you also when we get back about Baltimore's decision on their final drive. Should they have gone for it? Should they have considered going for it? I'll explain why I think they should have. Jeremy White, Big O, Jerry Ostrowski, Joe Marino driving home. He'll get back on schedule. He had some travel delays and
sounded like he had a good time.
That's right. Lost his voice, streaming from his phone in the car. So had a good time, as did many Bills fans today. It's the Bills Squad Show. Back with that 4th down decision from the Ravens in a moment here on the Bills Squad Show. NFL season is back, and there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between lines and login screens and prices. You can use Game Time. That's right, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay with the Game Time app. It's super convenient, really easy to use. And with Game Time, you're talking about your favorite NFL games as low as $100. So get in late, keep checking. You might want to go to the game late. Keep checking the Game Time app. They also have zone deals. Pick the section. Game Time picks the seats, and you save big. It's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way that I bought tickets. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go download the Game Time app today. Jeremy White, Jerry Ostrowski here on the Bills Squad Show, wrapping up the Bills' 41-40 win over the Baltimore Ravens, where Josh Allen ends with 394 passing and 2 touchdowns. So, conversions in a moment. I thought Baltimore should have gone for 4th and 3 on their final drive, and I'll explain it just as simple as this, Jerry. You let me know if you agree. Their worst-case scenario happened. It was the Bills kicking the ball with no time left. They had all their timeouts. I'd have gone for the 4th and 3. If you get it, you win. And if you don't get it, well, the Bills are already in field goal range. That's great. Fine. I'll give you 3 points with 30 seconds left.
There you go.
My enemy is you getting the points in time. Instead, if I don't get this 3, you might play for 3 right away. The Bills might not be aggressive. They might not hit a downfield throw to Keon Coleman or Josh Palmer because they're playing with their 5-yard offense. And it's a game where like 80 points are scored. Allen's do whatever he wants against you. If I'm Baltimore, I go for that 4th and 3. No questions asked.
There is a large man in the central part of the United States that loves cheeseburgers that would have went for that on 4th down. Andy Reid would not have let Josh Allen get the ball back. He would have, if he got it back, he'd have thought the same thing you did. My probability of getting the ball and going down and scoring after they score is much higher than going ahead and punting to them and letting Josh Allen now, who has, I think, 30 fourth quarter comebacks in his career, give him the opportunity. Andy Reid would have went for it. There's no doubt about it. So other than the Baltimore fans probably blasting Derrick Henry for the fumble, the next thing they're talking about is why didn't he go for it on 4th down?
Can't give that ball.
No, can't give it to him.
Can't give that ball to Josh Allen.
Because think about it. Think about it, Jeremy. The rules nowadays and the way things are played, the offense has too much of an advantage. You got to take that into your own hands and go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I would not have given the ball to Lamar in the same spot. I would have said, have your best player on the field and go for it. The 2-point conversions. Okay, it's almost impossible to remember all of them and what happened. We could talk about execution. You could talk about play calls. You could, a shotgun snap when they're at the 1-yard line. Why would you do that? But the very, very first one is the one that probably gets talked about the most because then after the first one, they are, finger quotes, Chair, they're chasing points, right? I don't know if you subscribe to going for 2 the first time. If anybody needs it, you don't need spreadsheets. You don't need analytics. You don't need anything. The reasoning for why teams have started to do that more, it is, I promise you, if you're someone that hates the nerds and all that, you don't need the nerds. The whole concept is, if I'm going to tie this game, I need 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. And when I score my first touchdown, I want to find out as early as possible, did I get the 2? That's it. If I don't get the 2, then I have a quarter and a half to figure out where I'm going to get that point back. So yes, you're going to chase the point, but that's built into the design of the decision. If I do get the 2, great, I got it. I know I got my 2. And now it changes the game in my favor. So that's it. That's why teams have started to do that. It's not just McDermott. It's almost standard procedure around the NFL to start to do that if you're going to need a 2-point conversion. Or I'm sorry, I might have this all wrong. They were down 14. It's still not in that case. You do need a spreadsheet. Never mind. They were down at 1.15 and 1.14. Yeah, It's also fresh. Crazy game. You know what
well,
I'm
the
trying
other
to
thing,
say.
yeah, the other thing is that I was interested in, okay, so I thought Josh had 2 bad throws in the night. One was early to Kincaid. It was almost picked off. He should have made that throw. The other one was the 2-point conversion to tie it up with Keon Coleman. And in all retrospect, maybe it worked out the best for us that he didn't make it, which gave Baltimore the opportunity to try to kill the clock and, stay in a running situation as opposed to the pass or whatever. But, and I know they did throw the short pass, but, I think that throw to Coleman lives in the upper part of the atmosphere, not down here. And he drove that ball chest level, which gave that DB a chance to make a play on it. You got to put that ball up high. And I think by the look on Josh's face after he threw it, he knew that. But other than those 2 throws, I think his throws were good. But yeah, I mean, all these teams do it now. Everybody's going for 2, especially when you got the offsides, the extra penalty. I was surprised, though, in that situation that 17 didn't just keep it and do something with it. That it was, we were trying to throw it. I'm surprised we didn't have a built-in run or something for him. Maybe they thought they were looking for it. Obviously, the first tush push didn't work, or snowplow, whatever you want to call it. Then he went over the top, which I'm glad to see him do that because at 6'5", he's long. He needs to do that more. I know you put the ball in harm's way a little bit, but still, I'd rather him do that than try to get underneath all that stuff.
Get some comments in along the way here as we roll on the Bill Squad show. The offense conservative, something Joe brought up, something you and I both brought up. The run defense, a problem. Deion Walker, TJ Sanders, there are a couple flash plays I thought from both those guys, really. I mean, the Bills want their pressure from the interior. I mean, without watching the All-22, Joe will have that episode of the All-22 review. Impressions from those two, what you saw in their first action?
From
Sanders and Walker.
Oh, Sanders and Walker. I thought Walker was grossly mismatched.
Okay.
There's some points in there where you see the line of scrimmage they're playing down here, and he's standing up. You can see from his middle of his waist up. I don't think he was as effective. Now I got to see the All-22, but the few plays I did see, he was high. I thought Sanders had a couple good rushes. Sanders is one of the guys I want to see move. He's not great in the run game having to sit there. He's just not quite strong enough yet. Hasn't quite got up to the speed of the NFL game. But I think that he's got a lot of athletic ability. He had some good rushes early. He did some things. They're only going to get better and better. But remember what I told you on Thursday? I only wanted to see one thing, right? There's only one thing I wanted to see on Sunday night, and I just saw it. It's that right there. Joe Brady.
1-0.
1-0.
You got your 1-0.
That's all I wanted to see. And we did. And you know what?
Yep.
He's going to have to answer some questions this week because obviously there were some question marks about his game plan. But I think that in the world of football, the McDermott coaches, you give yourself an opportunity to be there at the end. They gave themselves an opportunity, and it worked out this time.
Well, we have the two teams, both Baltimore and Buffalo. The Ravens have the streak now. The Bills had the streak of consecutive games without losing by double digits. Remember that one?
Yep.
And the Bills lost it against Baltimore last year, 35-10. I think Lamar still has the active streak for consecutive games without losing by more than one score. So sure enough, of course, it was a 2-score game that was going to end up a 1-score game. For Brady, it's funny. This is life with the Bills, Jerry. This is life with the MVP and life with an offense like this. 497 total yards for the Bills in this game. And like you said, Joe Brady's going to have some questions.
Yeah.
Hey,
well,
Joe.
Think about it. Think about last game, Jeremy. What was the yards discrepancy last year when we won?
Yeah, Baltimore had 130 or 140 more yards.
Yeah, and now you're looking at this going, Buffalo should have won, but if you didn't watch the game, but yeah, I hear you. I mean, he's going to have. I mean, think about it. You hit the nail on the head. 497 yards of offense, and you'll have some questions.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. We'll get some of your comments in. We'll also preview next week. The Bills might have a tougher test than anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. The Jets kind of showed out. The Jets were impressive in a loss, and again, against the Steelers, but is what it is. You can drop a comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Of course, we do our post-game shows and back Thursdays at 2 as well for our weekly panel discussion with me, Jeremy White, Jerry Ostrowski, and Joe Marino. And, of course, Joe's daily show, going to keep rolling. Again, look for it a little bit later tomorrow as Joe's travel plans kind of got thrown into disarray, and he kind of had to make it work on the fly. But you'll still get to the same number of episodes you do each week from Joe, so stay tuned for that. When we get back, a little look around the league, the Chiefs, quick reviews on what they did, your comments on this Bills game as well. The run defense roasted, the Bills left for dead, and of course, never a doubt, 1-0. Shout out Matt Prater. Welcome to the team, right? Does he get a game ball? Hey, everybody, this is Matt.
Oh yeah, he gets a game ball. They talked about him at the end of the game. I think you probably heard it, but basically said he's still trying to learn guys' names on the team, doesn't know everybody's name, and he just now got a good night's sleep to where he got over the time zone difference.
Yep. Matt Prater, welcome to the team. All right, more to come here as we wrap things up. Get your comments in. This is Jeremy White, Jerry Ostrowski on the Bill Squad Show. Hey, do you know about the Upside app? Locked On fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind and get in on the Upside app. That's right. With Upside, you have the opportunity to, just buy gas like you normally would. But there's a little more. Free Upside app. You download the app and in the App Store or Google Play right now. Start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code touchdown and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. At first, it sounds right, too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let the offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code touchdown for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code touchdown. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Wrapping things up again after every game, you can find us doing post game. We'll normally have all three of us, Joe Marino joining me, Jeremy White, and Jerry Ostrowski. But the Bills pull out a win, victory from the jaws of defeat on an epic scale. The most absurd win since, I don't know, Jerry. I'll spend the next couple hours thinking about that. The craziest win since,
I don't know. I don't know if I've seen one crazier than this one in quite some time.
Does a win like that make a team feel lucky, invincible, or this team wins a lot of games? It's just kind of like, yeah, of course that's what happened. What are they feeling in the room? What's McDermott saying? Is it hey, it wasn't pretty, but we did it? I mean, what's the vibe?
Well, they interviewed Marv on NBC before the show. They had him in as part of the intro package to the game, and Marv went through what he talks about usually. And one of the things he always said is, "You never, never, never give in. You never, never, never give up." And that's the only thing I can say about this game. I mean, this is, as a player, you're in the locker room and you're sitting there and you're talking about the fact that you continually battled and put yourself in a position that if just one good thing happened, you could possibly win this game. And the good thing was the fumble, because they never gave up. And I said it at the start of the show. Say what you will about Sean. You can say whatever you want. There's a big deal to be said about the fact that these players had every reason to throw in the towel, and none of them, to a man, didn't throw in the towel. They kept fighting and gave themselves a chance to win.
And doesn't a game like this make it so the next time it happens, they believe again? Right? Like if they have another game where they're down 15 with 8 minutes to go, be like, remember Baltimore? Like,
yeah.
It wasn't over.
It's the same thing that Kansas City does. And they have one thing in common. They got a bad dude that takes snaps on offense. And when you have a guy like Josh, somebody, just one other person, make a play and let this dude have an opportunity. And that's what they did. They found a way to get Josh the ball one more time, one more possession. And in this case, it was 2 possessions. They got the fumble. They went down and cut it to 2. They got him in 3 and out and got the ball back to him. And the rest is history. I mean, that's what it's about. I know this defense played horribly tonight. There ain't a guy in that room that's happy about it. They've got to change some things. Now, granted, we talked about it all week. Absolutely horrible matchup for this team. And hopefully, as we play them, because we will play them in the playoffs, we will sit here again and talk about the rematch. With Hoyt, Ogunjobi, and some other things that'll help this run defense, and they'll figure some things out. But still, you find a way to get your marquee players the ball one more time and they did it twice, and we walk away with a 41-40 victory. Just unreal.
Couple comments here. I like this one. I want to bring something up that happened during the game. So Bills fan 7883. You can always pop us comments and we'll put them on the stream. One thing I noticed is the Ravens actually thought the game was over at 40-25. You could see them taunting the fans, overly celebrating the sidelines. They chalked up the win and it cost them. Yep. One thing happened during this game. There was a dust-up between the Ravens and the fans, right? A fan reaches out and hits the helmet of DeAndre Hopkins, and then Lamar goes over, and Lamar gives a really healthy shove to a fan. And I would fully anticipate, Jerry, this is an issue tomorrow. The league, how should they handle it? Like, he's retaliating for a fan that reached into the field of play, but he definitely reached into the stands.
But the fan, I think, actually got him too.
Okay.
I think he got both of them.
Okay.
Did I think it was a malicious head slap? No. But the fan did touch both of them.
Okay.
And then on the road, you're more hyper. If that was in M&T Stadium, it'd be a little different. Both reactions weren't good. I think both situations, both people. I didn't think Lamar's double-handed push was appropriate. I didn't think a fan ever touching an opposing player on the field is appropriate either. And it is what it is.
It might go beyond NFL investigate. It might be going does he get fined into a full-on investigation with the Bills and the fan? And I don't know. It seems like it could be a really touchy subject and really sensitive situation because Bills fans might want Lamar suspended for that. And
no, they do. It's already been
for sure.
Oh yeah,
and Ravens fans are going to want the fan kicked out for life. And
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the other part about it, I thought was a little bit shady. I don't think it was that old. I think it was a younger kid.
Yeah,
he was a teenager. I think he was a teenager. I don't think he was an adult. I mean, he's an adult, but I don't think he was an older guy. I think it was a teenager, and that kind of, you get wrapped up in the moment, right?
Yeah. Up next for the Bills, it's the Jets, and the Jets lost today. They went 4 and out after a 60-yard Chris Boswell field goal from the Steelers. So the Steelers win in New York. Aaron Rodgers wins his revenge game and throws a bunch of touchdown passes. The Steelers feel pretty good. Justin Fields and that Jets team, they put points on the board. And Fields, Jerry, I wonder if there's a little bit – he's certainly not Lamar as a passer, but he's a mobile quarterback. And the Jets run game, if you're a Bills fan – or if you're Sean McDermott, I should say, let's do that instead. Get things buttoned up, fundamentals, where they made mistakes, and try to put on a better show against the Jets than they did against the Ravens.
Well, I think you're going to have to, you're going to have to try to slow down Breece Hall. I mean, when you look at this game against the Jets, you want to force them to have to make plays through the quarterback. Justin Fields did some things today that were really, really good, but when you start looking at that team, control something and get them to force them to do something else. And when I look at the Jets, let's control Breece Hall. Let's force Fields to have to beat us and then go from there. Don't think you won't see Fields run the ball a lot. I mean, I think they'll probably look at the tape and see, where Lamar did well and maybe try to emulate it. But the thing about the Jets, and I talked about this since the offseason, they've got a ways to go. But with Aaron Glenn there, they're going to be fundamentally sound. They're not going to make mistakes. They're not going to do stupid stuff, and they're going to do things the right way. The process is correct now, and he's going to need another couple of years to build the culture the way it needs to be. But that didn't shock me today that the Jets showed up and played good football. Justin
Fields ran well today for the Jets.
Right.
Breece Hall went over 119 carries against that Steelers defense. So, the sore spot of the Bills' run defense, how much of it do you think is you kind of have to accept it might be a sore spot for a couple of weeks? You need Ogunjobi back in there. He's a veteran. You need Hoyt and the way they're going to use him. You're going to need more experience for Walker and more experience for Sanders. Would you expect them to get the run defense fixed, but it'll take time?
I don't think the Bills are ever going to be a team that just shuts the run down. That's not what they care about.
Yeah, they like to invite the run. That's what they want. Like
Taron Johnson, invite the run. So
Taron Johnson says as much. He's like, we invite the run.
You just hope that while I switch my page over here to my right, you just hope that they don't run for 8.2 yards a clip.
At one point, Henry's yards per carry was 17.
Right. You just hope that you can keep them under 8.2. But yeah, I think that they feel that if they're keeping the running game in control, even though they give up a little bit, that's an advantage for them, which I have to agree with. And, we look at the Bills, and as much, that they haven't done well against the Chiefs in the postseason, they are kind of built to play against these passing type teams. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do. But I believe, and you can look at this a million different ways. You can look at it as this defense hardly played in the preseason, if at all. So it's a first game. And then they played the worst matchup out of 32 teams they could possibly play in the first game. And it can only get better from here, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this. Joe talked about it. I've talked about it. You're going to have to be patient with this group. I think as they get to week 7, 8, 9, 10, they'll start playing into their proper defense, or a version of it that they want to play, or as close thereof. But right now, it's going to have to be, a lot of soul searching, a lot of digging, a lot of film work, and they're going to have to work at it and figure out how to get better, because they can't continue to have nights like this where they give up 238 on 29 carries and then just expect 17 to pull a rabbit out of his hat and do it. But I saw a lot of good things as well. Like I said, the pressure packages early that held them to a field goal. The pass rush in general. Bosa did some really good things. Ed with a career night. So the foundational pieces are there, but something along the line schematically has to change.
Edwin writes in on this run conversation. They can invite it, the run, but geez, tell it to leave after a while. Yeah, thanks for coming, but please.
Yeah, I'm with you, Edwin. Everybody's left the party. You can go now too. Yeah. We want to go to bed.
Yeah. Well, it's an epic day at the stadium. I mean, if you were there, the weather was perfect. It was an incredible performance from Josh Allen and the offense to kind of, come back from the dead. The defense to make just enough plays to not give the game back. A big third down stop to give them a chance. They need that third down stop to give them a chance. They pressured Lamar a little bit, made him a little uncomfortable. Bosa the forced fumble early in the game, the fumble from Henry as well later in the game. Like they get by. It's truly incredible. So next up for the Bills at home will be Miami in a Thursday night.
Tonight they win 41-40, continue the NFL's longest win streak at home. Now they're at 12 straight games at home that they've won.
All right.
Magical start to the last season of Highmark.
Yep. And 10 days from now, it'll be, because it's midnight, it's past midnight. It's Victory Monday. Miami at home. And boy, Miami, rough first day, blown out by the Colts and Daniel Jones.
Okay, can we do something?
Sure.
Can we stop saying, and Daniel Jones? He's not bad. I think he's now finally in a situation where he's got talent around. There's some good players on that team with a good coach. He's not as bad as he was out of New York. Starting to figure out pretty quick that the head coach in New York's a little volatile.
Yeah, maybe. I kind of have the same thought on him because he's prototype in some ways, but he can move a little bit. He's fast, and he ran for 2 touchdowns today, and any quarterback that can do that, like, why can't Daniel Smith have a Geno Smith Daniel Jones have like a Geno Smith arc where he has a second chance, or Sam Darnold had that as well. Now Darnold's on like his 4th chance, but anyway, we'll see. But next Bills home game, Miami. First up, the Jets.
Definitely.
And without further ado, we're going to say goodnight. It is late. But the Bills.
Props to you, man. When do you got to get up?
I'll be up in a couple hours to go right on the air on WGR. I'll be ready for it. Talking conversions, talking run defense, and talking one of the craziest wins that many of us have ever seen. So thanks for tuning in again. Remember, Joe will be posting a little bit later than normal. He's got to get back home and get to work, but he's good for it. In talking to him today, it like gutted him to not be here for this show and have his show to go live early for everybody tomorrow morning, but he'll get caught up and we'll get back on schedule. So we're back Thursday, the full panel to chat about it. Bills win 41-40. Take a couple deep breaths. Happy Victory Monday. We'll talk Thursday. Go Bills.
Much love. Go Bills.